Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! Taylor gets this one out towards center field to the short porch, and bam! That's a floater, out to short. And it's booted off the shortstop's glove! Just like they do it from Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! Grant Fournier, 2-run shot to right.
Welcome to Absegami High School, a place where we've never been, but today we introduce ourselves to the Cape Atlantic League here in Galloway. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by David Cohen for a Cape Atlantic National matchup between the Absegami Braves and the Buena Chiefs, here right off of the Garden State Parkway. This is going to be a good game for multiple reasons. Buena, after being bumped down to the Cape Atlantic National during the last offseason, has really thrived in their new position under new head coach Dan Carignato. They're 5-3 to start the campaign and had a very good stretch of games against Gateway and Cape May Tech in late March, early April. And with the Cape Atlantic rules in their divisions, this will be the first of two that they'll play. They'll play one here at Absegami in just a couple of minutes, and then, of course, Buena will get their own chance to shine at Corolla Field on Wednesday afternoon. Michael Harless is your starter for Absegami, the Newman commit, as we'll flip over to the main board and see what he'll have going on today with his backstop, Matt Sterling. And in fact, they're going to get going right on time, actually. We're 4:02. Let's take a look at what Mike Harless has to offer. He's got a 0.78 ERA this year in 18 innings, just 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 26 strikeouts. So the senior is going to make sure that Buena has their hands full. And let's take a real quick look at the Buena starting lineup for this afternoon's contest. We've got Dylan O'Connell, the second baseman, followed by Ben Cohen in right. Javon Alexander is the center fielder. Rich Wilson at first. Jalexis Agosto Sanchez is the DH. Then Aiden Vi, Jack Colmer, Josue Guadrado, and Johnny Morales. As the first pitch is grounded out towards short, we are underway in Absegami, and the first pitch is going to be safe as he ends up beating it out down the line. So an early base hit in the infield there. Gives the Chiefs their first base runner against Harless. Here's Ben Cohen, a right fielder for today. And already dealing with traffic, a runner on first. 1-0. We saw Buena back on March 29th versus Gateway in the second part of a doubleheader for the Gators before they left for senior trip. Buena put up 20 runs in that game, including 9 runs in the 7th. One from Harless is upstairs. Sterling threatened a back pick, but no good there. Absegami last year 13-9, rather 12-9 under Junior Mejia. Got shut out in the first round of the South Jersey Group 3 playoffs versus Morristown. Or the first, not in time. And in fact, in the Absegami dugout, pinned to the wall on a corkboard is the Jersey Sports Zone thumbnail from that playoff game. And it says, Morristown blanks Absegami. And, you know, maybe that's just a little bit of an inspiration piece for Mejia and crew as the count is 2-2 to Cohen. Buena, of course, in their second year with Carignato after going 8-19 in their lone year in the Cape Atlantic American. Of course, they went 27-4 with Tom Carney in 2023, but that was with a great deal of what we call super seniors, or the COVID year guys that got to play another year. They won the South Jersey Group 1 sectional title over my alma mater, Audubon, lost to Pecanic in the state final. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Cohen. Harless delivers. That one's high. And it's 3-2. Very quick reactions from Matt Sterling there on those couple of pitches as Harless just trying to find a zone here early on and, looking to avoid any kind of awkward situations because he knows that that Absegami's offense, has a good chance of backing them up, but, we don't know how that's exactly going to fare. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and there's a strike called right on the lower half of the plate, and Ben Cohen is retired for out number 1. So after the infield single by O'Connell, that'll bring up the center fielder, Javon Alexander, for the Chiefs here this afternoon. Had some rain this morning in Atlantic County, but 61 degrees at first pitch with wind blowing steadily out to center field. Alexander swings and misses, and it's 0-1. Harless, as we said, just picked up his 27th strikeout of the season in just 18 innings. Got a strike that time. Bit of a delayed call, and it's 0-2. Nicknamed Excalibur, he is headed to Newman University over in Aston, PA for his 2026 season. As the 0-2, Javon Alexander grounds it out towards short. Throw across the diamond is in time. They don't get the lead runner, but they at least get one on the throw from short. That's out number 2. As that now will bring up the cleanup man, Rich Wilson, the first baseman. So O'Connell bumps up to second base, and the infield shifts over for the left-hander Wilson. Outside, 1-0. 1-0. Again, fails to catch the zone. Up and away. Wilson to be followed by the DH, Alexis Acosta Sanchez. He's hitting for Brian Pasamente today. And that's going to be a 3-0 count here. Three balls, no strikes. We'll see if Wilson gets the green light, the junior first baseman. And he will take a 4-pitch walk, so he will take his trot down the first base. And Buena is going to have 2 runners on here in the early going before Absegami will grab their bats. Here is Augusto Sanchez, senior infielder taking the DH spot today, a career .216 hitter. 373 slugging percentage, hit 2 homers in the last season, as now this will be a throw down to third by Matt Sterling. Throw trickles out towards short. And that runner did break for third, so now we'll have runners on the corners now for Buena. I'll go get it. Or you go get it. Yeah, I'll stick it here. 1-0. Oh, now here's going to be another pickoff attempt. Runner's going to come home. They're going to do the classic finish. He is safe at first, and Buena scores. That's the old-timer move right there. And Dylan O'Connell comes in on the pickoff move to make it 1-0 Chiefs. So they do cross the plate that time. Junior Mejia not happy about that call. I didn't even notice that until the end. Still having some words for the second base umpire. I think maybe he was arguing that the runner was out at first, but the run does come in to score on that old classic play. I do like that. Now a strike is called. 1-0 Buena as they cross home a run on that little trickster there. And now with Alexis Augusto Sanchez, count is even at 1-1. Only runner remaining. Holy goodness. Wind is blowing straight out. Almost shut down the laptop. Well, I'll tell you, this will be a good day for the power hitters in either of these lineups. Augusto Sanchez had 2 home runs as a junior. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Harless picks up 2 strikeouts, but allows a run in an unorthodox way. We'll go to the bottom of the first. 1-0 Chiefs as Gami will go to bat. Johnny Morales is the pitcher for the Buena Chiefs this afternoon. He comes into this game with a about a 3 ERA, and even though he's pitched some less innings and given up some more runs and struck out less batters, I think it still should be a good matchup today with Johnny Morales on the hill, as he'll hit in the 9 spot. Absegami's lineup presented by Harper Driving School. Nick Gargione in right, Briscato in left, and then Adrian Rosario, the 3 outfielders taking over the first 3 positions. Evan Gilger is the DH. Joaquin Velez is the shortstop batting 5th. Fazino, the 3rd baseman, and then Jack Scazafada at first base. Matt Sterling, the catcher, and Aiden Acosta rounding out the order at the 9 spot. Michael Harless only pitching in this game. This one's hit fairly well. It's actually going to be a standard pop-up in the infield. 3 men are going for the same real estate, and Javon Alexander comes up with it. Out number 1, Alexander says, "My bad." He comes up with the baseball. And even with what could have been an error, they end up making an out of it. And that's out number 1. Sometimes in that situation, when the wind is this loud, you can communicate all you want, and somebody's just not going to hear you. It's not going to be easy for these guys today, especially with the wind, as we said, blowing straight out, for those kind of situations to unfold. But after Gargione popped out to center, now Briscato, the left fielder, digs in. Count is 2-0. Another one to miss. Still 3 balls, no strikes to Jack Briscato, and he'll take a 4-pitch walk. That'll bring up now Adrian Rosario to center fielder. As we said, for Absegami, their first 3 hitters occupying all 3 of the outfield spots. As Morales, the right-hander, is set. He's going to get him to go at first. Throw to second, will not be in time. The tag was applied by Josue Guadrado. And some base-running trickery in the first inning. Buena got a run home on that old-timey play. Holy goodness, what is that? You hear that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the wind. That's a plane. You know what? I think we're really close to the Atlantic City Airport. I think that's what it is. I think just over the trees is the AC Airport, which I have never been to, but that was what I heard coming out of the car, because it sounded like the world was ending. It sounded like Armageddon had fallen upon Absegami, but instead it was a plane. Ground ball out towards short, picked up. Cuadrado couldn't get there. It's going to trickle into center field, and Absegami's going to tie the game. An E6 will score Gargione. Acosta will reach, and the score is tied, 1-1. So now that's going to bring up Evan Gilger, the DH. And honestly, this game could be a little bit scrappier in the way of, who makes less mistakes might be the one to win the game. Because we saw a 4-pitch walk, and then, Briscato was the one who came around, and now Gami's going to steal again. Throw down is way high, but it's stopped at short by Cuadrado, and that's a stolen base for Acosta with Gilger at the plate. Gilger hit his first career home run in a win over Cedar Creek the other day. I think the final score of that was 7-6. Here's the pitch. Another ground ball. Hot shot out towards short. Picked up. Gathered. Now they're going to try to go for the tag at second, and they got him. A blunder by Acosta forces out number two, rather. And they'll get the runner on at first, but that's going to be a 6 unassisted fielder's choice. So Gilger will reach first. Absegami with 3 base runners, one run to show for it. And it's 1-0 to the number 5 hitter for Gami, Joaquin Velez. Of course, Gilger DHing for the pitcher Harless. Now throw over to first. This game's going to be very active in terms of stolen bases and, infield hits and stuff like that. I don't think we're going to see even with the wind, I don't think we're going to see too many gap shots or too many, no-doubters. I think that if somebody gets a ball out of the yard, it's going to be because of the dimensions here and the wind. But these two teams are not the kind to hit a lot of homers. I mean, Absegami was when Matt Johansson was here before he went to Penn State Harrisburg. But even then, you're not going to see a lot of guys who, are that really that bulky in size, if you will. So I think it's gonna come down to the fundamentals: who can field the ball better, who can throw the ball better, and well, right now it's a 3-0 count. Gets one to go right down the pipe, and it's 3-1. Here at a busy Absegami campus, some softball practice going on to the side, some lacrosse as well, just over to our 10 o'clock angle. And that will be ball 4. Second walk surrendered by Morales. That'll now bring up Fazzino. So Velez reaches first. I'll put 2 runners on here. Called a strike. Fazzino, the 6th hitter to bat for Absegami. Laces this one out towards short. Got a bad hop. They're not going to tag the bag, but instead they'll throw to first. That could have been bad for Buena, but they end up getting a 6-3 ground out after Cuadrado couldn't tag the bag in time at second. Absegami leaves 2 runners on, but they do score a run on an E6, and we go to the second here in Galloway, 1-1. Well, maybe a testament to the wind today. One of the signs for Absegami that's just kind of hanging on the fence just turned over. It's now wrapped around the fence over in the left center field side. But, you know, I think you can hear the wind very clearly today as a strike is called back behind the dish. I don't think it's a secret that the wind is pretty strong today. So they're going to work with it as best as they can, and I'm going to work with the camera the best I can, see if it'll cooperate. But we're going to have some fun out here. You know, listen, the windiest game that we had so far this year was Vineland and Cumberland, and that was, again, because we were in a rural field. Throw to first. We'll be in time. 6-3 on the ground out. And Buna's number 6 leadoff hitter is retired. Glad I haven't lost too much weight yet. I might start flying away. Number 7 man for Buna at the dish. That being Colmer after Vi was retired. Aiden Vi, Jack Colmer, and then Josue Cuadrado. 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up for the Chiefs in the top half of the second. If you're just joining us, both teams traded a run in the first. Buna scored on the classic stolen base trickery, and then Absegami got one on an E6 in the bottom half of the first inning. So after Vi was retired on the 6-3, I'll talk to you in between innings. We'll get you a card, though. I send you the AD? Okay. QR code's on the back if you want to send it to anybody. In between innings is fine. Sorry about that. That's ball 4. As Vi, after being retired in the top half, sends it over to Colmer, and Colmer walks. Absegami's AD was saying he remembered me from Audubon. Fun fact, we've never covered Absegami before. Not here, not anywhere. They are the 106th high school to be covered in the state of New Jersey under our company, as there's a pop-up. Back behind the plate, Sterling goes for it, and it'll hit the press box. As Cuadrado, the shortstop, is up. So Buna 1, Absegami 1. Buna with a runner on first. Second walk surrendered by Harless. And the pitch got a piece of it. It's 0-2. The pitcher, Johnny Morales, is next. And another one popped up. This one will go into the Atlantic County Forest. Never to return. Maybe that's where the Jersey Devil is down there. Although that's more the Pine Barrens. Yeah. That's a little bit further up in your country, in Seneca. Ground ball out towards short. Picked up by the shortstop, Velez. Throw to first is in time. Does move the runner over, though, and sets it up for Morales, who looks to help his own cause. So Colmer advances into scoring position. Not the first time that Absegami has kind of wavered on getting the lead runner and instead just went for the easiest out possible. I mean, maybe that infield combo between Velez and Acosta, might not hold that same weight, but still interesting to see. First pitch is lined foul over towards the first base fence, and it's 0-1. 61 degrees today here at Absegami High School in Galloway. Had to travel a good bit to get here, 55 minutes right from home in Pittman. But I'm happy to be here, wind or not, and conditions or not. I've always told people, I love traveling for baseball, and I've always found it to be a privilege to cover so many schools. And I mean, that athletic director just talked to me. I had never met him before in my life, but he knew of my work. I don't know how. I've covered Cedar Creek once, Oakcrest once, and I've never covered Absegami before. But word gets around as a ground ball out to short will retire the side. They leave a runner in scoring position, but Mike Harless still rocking and rolling. After 1.5, we are tied in Galloway. Bottom of the second here in Absegami High School. I should say at Absegami High School in Galloway. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. If you like those odds, you can book your appointment today at 614 Lambs Road in Pittman at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex out there. 1-0. Start the bottom of the second. Misses outside again. 7, 8, and 9 due up for Absegami in the second. Skazafava, Sterling, and Acosta. 2-0 also misses. Already 2 walks surrendered by both pitchers, Harless and Morales, here in the early going. And the 3-0 will get called a strike. And that's something that going into this game, you kind of look at the statistics, you kind of look at what the pitchers are doing, and you can kind of see that coming as there's a ground ball over towards second base, picked up, throw is low to first, but it is trapped and taken in by Richie Wilson. And that's out number 1 as Absegami is retired to start the second. Yeah, neither team has really been barreling up the ball that much. They've been hitting some ground balls. There's only been 1 fly ball in the game, and that was the play that was caught by Alexander after a little bit of real estate issues there. But Matt Sterling, the partner in crime for the right-hander today, Mike Harless, sends this one out towards shallow center. Alexander going in, can't get there, falls right in between the 3 of them, and that's a base hit, first of the day for Absegami. They scored a run without a hit in the first. And now Acosta, the number 9 hitter, will bat. Absegami started out the year 4-0 as a late swing and a miss. Now a throw down to second is not in time. Ball pops out. And it's 0-1 to Acosta. They swept Oakcrest in their first series of the year and then also swept Lower Cape May, which is out to a 3-4 start this year. Then they lost a standalone with Ocean City and split their series with Cedar Creek, losing 10-0 in Game 1 and then won 7-6 in Game 2. There's a line shot out to left center field. That's going to drop. They will put up the stop sign for Matt Sterling at third by Coach Junior Mejia. And that will put runners on the corners here as we flip the lineup back over to the top. As things could get interesting here with the top of the lineup coming up and a very, very hot offense behind them. At least in terms of the 1, 2, and 3 spot as back-to-back base hits by the 8 and 9 hitters. I mean, if you're Gargione after flying out to center field in the first at-bat, this is exactly what you want. Your 8 and 9 guys are not designed to be pushovers. They're designed to back you up as they're going to cut off the throw to second. Acosta will get in there safely. But either way, you know, when you're watching a game like this and, you know, you're thinking about who's going to make less mistakes, who's going to be better on the fundamental side of the baseballs. Here's a fly ball floated out to right field. That's going to get a base hit down in front of Cohen. He loses it, and both runs are going to come in to score. That will be a 2-run single off the top of the order for Gargione, and Absegami takes a 3-1 lead. Good piece of hitting there, just getting the ball down, and feels like a breath of fresh air after we saw Triton and Highland yesterday, which had no runs in the first 6 innings. Throw to first, not in time. Apologize for the shaky camera movements, adjusting things with the wind here. So 3 straight singles, a 2-run blooper. Now the runner goes down to second. He'll get in there safely. With Briscato at the plate now in the 0-1 count. Briscato, class of 28, freshman, grounds this one out towards second base. Picked up by Sanchez. Throw to first is by O'Connell is in time. Does move the runner over to third safely. And it's out number 2. Again, Absegami's just been very productive with their hitting. Even when they gotten out there, moved the runner over, and then this is one of those teams that's going to steal a lot of bases and, you know, find a way to get the ball in play. It doesn't matter whether you hit a homer or not. They only have 1 this year, but they already have 13 stolen bases across 7 games. Meanwhile, Buena not too far behind in that regard. I mean, they're doing pretty well in that category as well. They've already stolen 39 bases in 8 games. That just shows how these two teams are going to really feed off of each other today. There's a base hit left field, off the bat of Rosario. RBI single makes it 4-1 as Absegami's put up a 3 spot in the second. I'll bring up Gilger, the DH. I really like what Absegami's doing here. They have 4 hits in the inning, all singles. No ifs, ands, or buts. Not having any, you know, shenanigans, not hitting the ball out of the yard. They're just doing fundamental baseball. And can you really be mad at fundamental baseball? This is going to be another ball down, another stolen base. I mean, this is just, it's like Woody Ball. Wash, rinse, wash, and repeat. That's what they're going to do. And if you're going to take advantage of it, then that's going to be a very worthwhile decision for everybody out there, especially for Absegami. Especially when you're facing a Buena team who, as we said, has stolen 39 bases in 8 games. That's an average of almost 5 per game. Those are good numbers. This one's hit well out to left field, but it will stay in the ballpark by a fair amount, and the side is retired. Gilger flies out to left, and Absegami brings 7 to the plate, scoring 3. Buena will grab their bats, and after 2 here in Galloway, it is 4-1.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Welcome to the home of the Braves. Funny enough, the first high school alphabetically in the state of New Jersey. Why would I mention that? No reason. But after 2 innings here in Galloway, it is 4-1 Absegami. As Absegami brought home 3 runs to make it a 4-1 game, 4 hits, all singles. 2 RBI single by Gargione. Adrian Rosario added another RBI of his own. Mike Harless, 2 walks, handful of strikeouts as he enters his 20th inning of 2025 as a senior for the Newman commit. As he throws a strike, 0-1. The Newman Knights, we know John Merck from there, the former assistant over at Rutgers Camden. That one's laced into center field. That's actually going to drop in the infield, but it got out anyway. And Dylan O'Connell turns us over to the lineup card and introduces himself with a base hit. He's 2 for 2. Infield single and now an outfield single to add to his resume as he's hit 2 off of Harless today. That's where I think this game is going to get pretty good, is where Buna's scrappiness and their speed and the fact that they're pretty loose as an organization. Meanwhile, Absegami plays a little prim and proper baseball and plays a very old school style of play with not a lot of power hitters on either team. I think that should make for a decently high-scoring game, especially, like we said, Buna coming into this game, 39 stolen bases as a team, which is second in the Cal. You don't get much better than that. Popped up in the infield. Who's going to call for it? We got another couple of folks going for real estate. It's Velez who comes down with it, out number 1. O'Connell held it first as Cohen pops out in the infield for Javon Alexander. When we saw Buna versus Gateway in March, Alexander must have been maybe 5 feet away from a home run over at the Westville Coliseum, but he's a good player. Left-handed batter coming into this game with a .391 average. 3 extra base hits, a .522 slugging percentage, 9 for 23, 10 RBIs. Only player on Buna with double-digit RBIs. Josue Cuadrado and Jalexis Agosto Sanchez not too far behind with 6 apiece. Richie Wilson with 8. 2-0. I don't think Harless has done bad by any means. I mean, there's a reason why he's getting recruited as he is, but I think that the wind or maybe some kind of the conditions, he's not really commanding the strike zone as well as he normally does. You know, those first pitch strikes are usually something that we see out of him, and usually just a very commanding pitcher overall. But Buna's getting some base runners on, whether it's early swings or really drawn out at bats. We're seeing a little bit of both ends of the spectrum, basically. 3-1. There's another example. Hasn't started too many at-bats out on the right foot. And of course, there's plenty of time to turn it around, and if his run support does come in, which it basically has. Here's a ground ball by Alexander. They will not go for the out at second. Alexander is retired at first for the second out. So it does move the runner over. But yeah, I mean, 4 runs in 2 innings. That's always a good baseline, especially scoring 3 runs in the bottom half of the second inning. You know, makes you feel somewhat confident. But a 4-3 ground out. Alexander now 0 for 2. First pitch popped up and fouled. Got some nice distance on it from Richie Wilson, who had a 4-pitch walk in his first at-bat. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Vincent's Lawn Care. Excuse me. We'll talk about him a little bit later. But the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Pro Wrestling, South Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events and nonstop action throughout the Garden State. For more information on future events, including their appearance at South Jersey Geek Fest at Rowan University on April 17th, visit dawgprowrestling.com. There's strike called, 1-2. Yeah, we'll be doing some extra promotions for the pro wrestling folks over there in the coming weeks. But 1-2, strike 3 called. Harless, swords and other, as the Excalibur is slicing and dicing his way through the Buna offense, holds them scoreless and does leave a runner in scoring position as we go to the bottom of the third here in Galloway. 4-1, Absegami. Bottom of the third here in Absegami, 0-1 count to start this inning as Buena held scoreless. Absegami scored 3 in the second, and another couple of foul balls here from the number 5 hitter, Joaquin Velez. It's Velez, Fasano, and Skazatava, excuse me. 5, 6, and 7 for Absegami. And good morning, good afternoon, and good night. That's a 3-pitch strikeout. First of the day for Morales. That's out number 1. Here's Fasano, the third baseman. Some out-of-town scores. Eastern leads Lenape 2-0. St. Augustine blew it open in the second inning versus Ocean City. They lead 7-0. Alex Weingartner, grand slam to center field. Popped up. This one looks like it's going to be in fair grounds. It is foul, though, down the left field line. It's 0-2. Yeah, it seems like after that rocky second, Morales might be settling himself in here. Might be finding a way to get extra involved. As there's a ground ball, that'll shoot through the gap, bobbled by Quadrado, and that'll be an infield single. As Fasano will get on after the bobble in the infield. So that'll bring up Skazatava with 1 out in the third. Just a tough cue shot there in the infield, right between the 5 and 6 slot. Not easy to field there. He went in for the slide, and Quadrado just came up a little bit empty. Another grounder put in play. This time goes straight away in the left field. That'll be a base hit. The middle of the order doing their job. Absegami with 6 hits, all singles. And they are putting on a good show here with Skazatava at the dish. Absegami is a team batting .251. In fact, their entire season across 7 games, this is their 8th game that they're playing. This is just their, let's see here. They only have 4 extra base hits across the entire season. 3 doubles and a homer. And that will hit them a little bit reluctantly, and the bases will be loaded. So don't look now, but with Aiden Acosta at the dish, could set up an interesting situation here. 2 singles and a hit by pitch. Now bring up the number 9 hitter, Aiden Acosta. After a late appeal by Buena, they said that the second base umpire said they did not go. Now here's Aiden Acosta. Junior infielder, off to a slight bit of a rocky start in 2025. He is 2 for 22 with 7 runs scored, 2 RBIs, an .091 average, but plenty of time to turn it around as the infield starts to creep in. For the Chiefs, down by 3, Acosta fouls it back. Acosta got his 3rd hit of the year with the base hit to right center field in the bottom half of the second as a part of their 4-hit, 3-run barrage. With the bases loaded, big chance to get some more on the board. Poked foul down the first base line. 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch to Acosta hitting the same spot. Another breaking ball there by Morales. He's really been firing those breaking balls out. Sometimes you got to do that here with the bases loaded and 1 out. You know, sometimes as a pitcher you're thinking, all right, what can I do to change it up? What can I do to spice things up a little bit and change the tempo? Well, firing the breaking balls in there could do that. That's the 3rd straight, though, on the same exact pitch to be hit in that direction. What do we say? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, don't break it, is what I'll say to that. And the pitch. This one finally hitting the fair territory, straight away to Cohen. They'll fire it home. This should get a run home as it is cut off by Wilson. Sacrifice fly by Aiden Acosta puts run number 5 on the board. That makes it 5-1 Braves. I'm really liking how Absegami's hitting out of the bottom of the order today. The 7, 8, and 9 guys have gotten on base 4 out of 6 opportunities, and then the one that didn't, hold on here, they just ended the inning. Pickoff move or something?
It was either a pickoff move or an appeal that he left early.
Could be an appeal that he left early, but we might get some more information on that. Not sure what happened there, but the inning is over. Absegami scores 1. The run still stands on the board, so I don't think it was the runner from third who left, but I don't have a good angle of that. We're through 3, 5-1.
Ryan Nutley, who has 3 RBIs so far, is up on deck as here's a
Top of the 4th, Absegami added 1 run, but in an unusual end to the inning. Some kind of appeal. I don't think it was a pickoff move because he wasn't even set on the hill. We sent our guy David Cohen over to ask the folks what happened, because we're not sure what happened either. So 1-0 count to start the inning as we're in the top of the 4th here in Galloway. 1-0 fires a strike right down the pipe. Actually, it looks like the run got taken away on the board. I think it was runner on third that left. Just from what it looks like on our side, I can't read that scoreboard too well. Just want to make sure we don't get it wrong. It does look like they took away that 5th run, and now makes it 4-1 on the ball game. Acosta would be credited instead of a sacrifice fly with a double play. Count is now 2-2. Augusto Sanchez, Aiden Vi, and Jack Colmer, 5, 6, and 7 for Buena in the top half of the 4th inning. Harless with 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. And a 2-2 found back. David, welcome back. What'd you hear?
Well, the run is off the board. So
I just saw that on the scoreboard. The run got taken off the board.
I'm guessing he left early.
That would be my guess as well. We were zoomed in on the right fielder, and this is where a multicam setup really comes in play. But, yeah, it's as kind of arbitrary as our system is. That one's popped up in the infield, caught by Acosta, out number 1. So, yeah, runs taken off the board. I mentioned that while you were away, but now it's 4-1. So Absegami held scoreless, and instead of a sacrifice fly, it will be a double play. That's what we've got. Thank you very much, David, for making the pilgrimage as a ground ball out to short. Velez is there. Throw across the diamond is a beauty in time. 2 up, 2 down for Harless. Out number 2. That'll bring up Colmer. And I think Buena needed that little break there, especially on the double play. But like we said, this game could very well come down in a scrappy matchup like this to who makes less mistakes, who plays their fundamental baseball better. And if you're not playing your fundamental baseball the right way, well, then guess what? You're not going to be in good business. As the first pitch, as a huge gust of wind came in, 0-1. called again, 0-2. Fly out to, rather pop out to second, ground out, and a swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts for Harless, and the inning is over. Rather, that's strikeout number 4 for the right-hander today. Committed to Newman, as before he makes his trip to Aston, he's got to make his trip back to the dugout. Absegami 4, Buena 1. Buena 1, Absegami 4. As we're in the bottom half of the 4th inning here at Galloway. First pitch, or rather 0-1, excuse me. First pitch was a strike. That one dribbles right back in front of the mound. Throw to first is in time. And the batter's retired for the first out. So Buena went down in order. Pop out, ground out, and a strikeout. As Gargione, the leadoff man, is retired. Here's Briscato, fouls it back, 0-1. I mean, I will say, you know, Buena, as we said, they had a 3-game stretch where they scored 52 runs in 3 games, but those 2 games that they played against Cape May Tech, they were both 16-1, and then they put up 20 versus Gateway, and that game was relatively close for a good part of it, but Buena scored 9 runs in the 7th inning and basically put the game away and put people to sleep. So, I mean, Buena's been a little bit up and down this year, but it's still better than what they had last year with 8-19. But that's also because I think that people looking at the 2023 season and looking at all those COVID year guys under Tom Carney, I mean, listen, I went to Audubon. I saw Audubon play Buena in the 2023 South Jersey Group 1 final. There were a lot of people that were upset about, you know, Buena's circumstances and what they had in that game. But I personally am not upset with them because, listen, they weren't breaking any rules. They were taking advantage of a system that was given to them. There was nothing that said that those guys couldn't play. There was stuff that explicitly said that they could play. So, in that situation, I mean, look, they've got an entirely new core now after those 2 years were gone. And Joey Kurtz, the right-hander who's now at Goldie Beacom, hold on here, fly ball to left field, will be caught to retire the side. So we'll hold off that story for just a little bit, but a very fast 4th inning brings us to the 5th here at Absegami. Absegami 1, or rather Absegami 4, Buena 1. Behind the backstop here at Absegami reads One Tribe in the wordmark styling of the Atlanta Braves, as the Absegami Braves take the field in the top half of the 5th inning. Strike called. Absegami went down in order in the bottom half of the 4th, and after a very lively first few innings, things have pretty much stopped. Fly ball to center field. Gargione, hold on here. Hello! What a catch out there. A good stretch out in center field makes the play. That's out number 1. Close call there. Again, 2 guys going for the same real estate. Sometimes doesn't end well, and found a way to counter it and get out of it. So Gammy will bat 4, 5, and 6 in the bottom half of the 5th, but now we have, well, Quadrado was the one who just flew out to center. Now it's Johnny Morales. Harless has retired the last 7 straight, and he may be well on his way to the 8th as he's got an 0-2 count here. No balls, 2 strikes. Harless ready to go, kicks and delivers. Inside on the breaking ball, 1-2. Yeah, I mean, Buena and Absegami both traded off a run in the first, and then Absegami scored 3 in the bottom half of the second. Haven't had a peep since. Not that that's a bad thing, but both teams, after maybe a rocky start, have now really settled in, and settled in very well. After an 0-2 start, Morales now finding a little bit of morale in his at-bat. 2-2. Fouled back into the forestry. Hit off one of those barns back there, one of the sheds. Even with the wind, just a beautiful day today. Even though we had some, back home in Gloucester County, had some rain this morning. There's a swing and a miss. Strikeout number 5 for Mike Harless, and it comes at the bottom of the order for out number 2. Brings up Dylan O'Connell now. And how do you know it's the top of the order? Well, every man on the field just said top, top, top. It's customary, but it's a good way for myself to know that I'm not scoring the game wrong. Here's the first pitch outside. Our schedule ahead for DWB, we've got more Tri-County baseball on Wednesday. Tomorrow, David will be joining me for that game as well between the Woodstown Wolverines and the Glassboro Bulldogs. With Mark DeCastro and Anthony Korma. Misses there, 2-0. Then Thursday will be off. Friday we will have a doubleheader with the Shalleck Cougars and the Rancocas Valley Red Devils. And then at 3:30 p.m. some NJAC baseball between the Stockton Ospreys and the Rutgers Camden Scarlet Raptors. On Saturday you can tune in on the Roadrunner Network for baseball between the Brookdale Jersey Blues, ranked 5th in the country, versus the number 1 nationally ranked and 31-3 RCSJ Roadrunners. That hit them right in the backstop, and that's after a 3-0 count. O'Connell will get on. So he's reached base 3 times today. 2 singles and now a hit by pitch in the backside. Now it's Ben Cohen. Strike called, 0-1. Yeah, I think Saturday's going to get up to like 78 degrees or something like that. It's going to be a little bit funky. Finally can wear shorts again. Oh, there's an excuse me swing back in front of the mound. Harless is there, and the side is retired. Buena still failing to get back in scoring position. Needs a little bit of a groove because after 5, they still only have that 1 run on the board as we go to the bottom half, 4-1, Absegami. Bottom of the fifth inning, Morales still out there as this is might not be a bullpen game for a little while, and I'm not sure if Harless will ever relinquish the mound, if you will. But Absegami, after a 3 spot in the bottom half of the second, both offenses have been dormant. As the first pitch from Morales checks in there for a strike. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Rowan College of South Jersey, the Roadrunners. Non-stop championship contenders in all forms of athletics in the fall, winter, and spring. You don't want to miss it. Come to the best JUCO in New Jersey and in the tri-state area with, of course, filling out the prospective athlete form at rcroadrunners.com. Join myself and the Roadrunners as we enter another prosperous school year. Winners on the field and winners in the classroom. 1-1. Little dribbler out to second base. O'Connell is there, and that's out number 1. Yeah, both pitchers really seem to be in a role. Again, you know, if that 3-run second inning doesn't happen, we're talking about a 1-1 game, and we're not sure who's going to win this thing. So I like the fact that Morales didn't let that get to his head, and I also like the fact that Carignano for Buena didn't have a short leash, didn't pull his guy. We don't have anybody warming up right now. They're just letting them operate on their own terms, if you will. So Gilger grounded out to second. And now that brings up Velez. A walk and a strikeout to his name today. One ball, 2 strikes. And the pitch. Upstairs, 2-2. That one's also high, 3-2 now. Yeah, Morales has been pretty primarily on the off-speed today and dealing with the bases empty. Don't want to get into a gap as there's a foul ball down the right field line headed towards those practicing lacrosse players. Absegami with a pretty busy campus today. They are hosting boys volleyball versus St. Augustine in about 10 minutes. Ooh, hello. Hold on to your hats. It's a good thing we have these headsets on. Here's a 3-2. That one's upstairs. Ball 4. Velez gets a free pass. And Absegami looking for some insurance in the 5th inning. As now here is Fasano. Velez walked for the 2nd time today. That's the 3rd walk allowed by Morales. It's Fasano, 1 for 2. Throw back to first. Velez goes back in standing. Pitch misses high. Throw down to second is also high, and getting in there with a stolen base is Velez. So he gets a sign from Junior Mejia there. You haven't seen too much of that just because we haven't seen too many base runners on in this pocket of time. As there's a ground ball out to second again. They have really been peppering that middle infield for Buena, I'll tell you that, and that's out number 2. Yeah, the boys volleyball team for Absegami doing quite well, 5-2 this year. Wins over Hamilton, EHT, Pleasantville, Mainland, and Cape May Tech. And a loss to Triton and Williamstown. Oh, 0-1. Popped up first base side. This could stay in play. Going over, sliding is Ben Cohen, and it's a foul ball as he was very close to making a good play, but also very close to getting into a bad situation, as that one will go out of play. No balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. The runner for Gami did move to third. And the pitch. Fouled back again. Still working it to the bone with 2 away. Here's the pitch. This one hit into fair territory out to right field, and Ben Cohen on a can of corn brings it in. Absegami leaves the runner 90 feet away, and both teams now down to their last 6 outs, depending on what happens here in the last few innings. We are through 5 in Cape Atlantic territory, right off of the Atlantic City Airport. It's 4-1, Absegami. Top of the 6th inning here on a windy Tuesday afternoon at Absegami High School. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Vincent's Lawn Care. South Jersey's best in terms of lawn care and landscaping all throughout the Garden State. Visit or give them a call today at 609-413-0403 for more information. Also, if you're a small business owner interested in advertising with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, send us an email with an advertising inquiry today at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. As Alexander taps this one out towards short, picked up Velez in time, out number 1. All the commercials you see on the broadcast today are filmed, edited, recorded, and produced by our wonderful crew here at DWB. And all the funds towards commercials and the sponsorship costs go towards my college fund. I'm a 19-year-old freshman at Rowan College of South Jersey. We have a lot of interns who are college students and high school students who are interested in sports media and sports broadcasting in general. Like I said, I'm a freshman over at Rowan College of South Jersey, hence the sponsorship with the Roadrunners. But just glad to be doing this kind of stuff. Like we said, today was a 55-minute drive. I think after picking up my producer today, it was an hour and 15-ish. But either way, always fun to be down here. Always fun to be somewhere where you're usually not. Like we'll be next week. We'll be at Trenton Thunder Stadium for some more baseball with the West Windsor schools, West Windsor North and West Windsor South, on the 26th. But either way, still like to have a lot of fun and still like to get those opportunities going. We've got a doubleheader on Friday, and it's always fun. So, yeah, send us an advertising inquiry to get in the advertising game here in South Jersey with over 100,000 annual viewers on YouTube and over 6,000 combined social media followers across Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Alexander grounded out to short to start the inning. And now Wilson, who is 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout, takes downstairs. 2-2. Alexis Augusto Sanchez will be next for the Chiefs. Wilson, the junior, taking the first base spot today. Drills this over the middle. On a blooper, Velez has trouble with it, and that'll be an error. That could very well be the mistake that Absegami was going to make, and the one that Buena wanted to take advantage of with Sanchez now. I mean, Wilson is a very effective hitter. He's got 3 extra base hits this year, a 421 average and a 579 slugging percentage. But either way, very effective stuff as Wilson reaches base for the second time today. So here is Augusto Sanchez. 4 for 24 this year. Like we said, as a junior last year, had 2 homers, 9 walks, 7 stolen bases, and a 231 average. Buena this season 5-3. Started off the year with a split series versus Lower Cape May. 5-3 win on opening day, and then the next day lost 9-2. As we said earlier, that stretch where they scored 52 runs in 3 games, they had a 20-3 win over Gateway, 16-1 wins in back-to-back games over Cape May Tech. There's a swing and a miss. 1-2 now. And then after that, they lost both ends of the series to Holy Spirit, 9-5 and 13-3, and then recently, yesterday actually, beat Atlantic Christian, an independent. 2-2. They play Absegami again tomorrow. Like we said, the Cape Atlantic rules, a lot like the Skyland Skyland Conference, where the teams play each other twice, once at home, once and away, to finish out the season series, which I don't mind it. I think it's definitely a unique thing for the Cal schools, but these two will be playing each other tomorrow at Buena at 4 o'clock, and then Buena plays ACIT for the next 2 on the 22nd and 23rd next, I believe that's Monday and Tuesday. Grounder foul, still 3-2 now. And they take part on the 26th in the El Hidelt tournament at Oakcrest versus Millville, and then they'll play Oakcrest, the host school, at 12:30. 3-2. That one is high. And now Junior Mejia coming out. There is a bullpen back behind the Absegami dugout, so if somebody was warming up in place of Harless.
I think somebody was warming up a couple innings ago back there.
Yeah, well, that definitely was. I mean, it was a little bit back. So, I mean, if they could do a 1-for-1 swap in the infield, I don't know what they would do in that situation. But I think Mejia, since Harless hasn't been taken out of the game, I think they're more just talking strategy here. It's a 3-run lead. You got 1 out. 1 swing can end the inning, but also 1 swing can tie the game. So this is where you get into a really pivotal situation. And of course, for Mike Harless, he's done very well. He's pitched 5 1/3. Not every coach will let their starters go that long. So the fact that he has this much confidence, game in and game out, to pitch Harless for as long as he can, just really shows the resilience that he has as a right-hander, and also Mejia's resilience as a coach. I mean, Absegami is one of those teams that has always been very consistent. And not in the way of dominance, but more in the way of, they're winning games. 2024, they went 12-9. 2023, 13-9. Count is 1-1 here to Augusto Sanchez. Or rather, excuse me, not Augusto Sanchez, because he reached on. Got the free pass. This one's got some height to it, out to left, straight away. Taken in by Friscato. That'll be out number 2. First pitch with 2 outs and 2 on. As after Vise fly out, Colmer is up. Oh, 1, a bunt, foul. balls and 2 strikes. They'll get the runner down the third, and he's safe there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wilson at third. Augusto Sanchez still at first. As Harless 1 pitch away from getting out of the jam, with the tying run at the dish being Colmer. 2 outs, 2 on. Harless is set, and they'll step out. He got him looking, and the inning is over. The second baseman lost his cap, and the side is retired. Buna's coach was arguing, Carignano was arguing that was a balk. I think you heard it all the way from the third base dugout. He was yelling, "That's a balk," and the inning is over. So Harless picks up his 6th strikeout, and through 6, and guess what? He's still in this ball game. It is 4-1 Absegami. There's a good chance that this game might not be a bullpen game at all, because Johnny Morales is in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Michael Harless, well, he looks like he might be getting ready to go for the 7th. He's got 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, and a ground ball out to third. On the first pitch, will be fired across the diamond. It is low. It skips away. He'll take the turn and go to first. And that will get a base runner on for Gami in the bottom half of the 6th. As Sterling leads it off, and he'll get immediately pinch run 4 on the courtesy runner. As that is Michael Beckner running at first. Absegami led by Coach Junior Mejia, Andrew Roche, and Sean Harless. Another throw over to first. Second attempt, no good. Absegami, as we said, 12-9 in 2024. 7-5 in the Cape Atlantic National. 15-8 in 2023. And then 11-12 in 2022. I mean, again, you know, the only time that they had a relatively bad season with 2021 when they went 3-13, but that was also 2021. I can kind of, you know, cough that one up a little bit. As getting down to second, holding there as the ball got away. Wonder how long of a leash Carignano is going to have on Morales, because they're down by 4, but at the same, or rather down by 3, but they also have to play the same team tomorrow. And would you rather leave Morales in, especially in a game where the offense has been, you know, a little bit stagnant for both sides, or do you give them the best you got and the best opportunity that you have to win the game on the road? You know, when you're at Corolla Field tomorrow, conditions are going to be a little bit different. There's a grounder on a bunt, back to Morales. The throw is way high, goes down the right field line. That will score a run for Gami. Going over to first and stopping there is Acosta, and an insurance run, the first since the second for the Braves, makes it 5-1, and that makes up for the run that was taken away back in the third. mean, that was kind of the moment where the offense died, if you ask me, was when Acosta got called out, or the runner got called out for leaving early. Because at that point, Absegami had 2 runners in scoring position on 2 hits. They were up to 6 hits in 3 innings. It's great. But then the double play gets called, the sacrifice fly gets overturned, and then they go down in order, get one on, and, you know, things just kind of stalled out from there. 1-0, runner goes, throw down to second base, is not in time. Gets in there safely by the skin of his teeth, and now Acosta will run at second. So Sterling, or rather his pinch runner Beckner, came in to score. Now here's Gargione. 2-1. Had a 2-run single in the bottom half of the second inning. I think, though, your player of the game, if Absegami wins this one, would have to be Mike Harless. 6 strikeouts, 6 innings, maybe more, as a ground ball out to second. Picked up by O'Connell. Oh, he shuffled it. Goes into right field. Cohen picks it up, and another error by Buena scores another run for the Braves. 6-1. Back-to-back errors for the Chiefs puts them in a precarious situation here. The dugout standing. I don't know if Morales is going to be done. They're not going to come out and talk to him, but here's Briscato. Back-to-back errors. That's the 3rd of the day in our book by the Chiefs. As now here's Briscato. 0 for 2. Now throw down to second is also not in time. I really like how Absegami is kind of mirroring what Buena has been doing with this stolen base stuff. I mean, they've been very, very adamant in that. One and one is the count. And the 1-1 here is upstairs. Excuse me, 2-1. Got my tongue tied real quick. Absegami, after this game, like we said, they will play Buena at Corolla Field in Buena tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and then Holy Spirit will come to town on the 22nd and 23rd. Away, as that one almost hit the golf cart, almost hit the athletic director down the right field line. But Buena 6, Absegami 1. Buena does have a right-hander throwing down the left field line. Actually, it looks like a left-hander down there. It's the grounder in play. Third base side, another bobble. They're not going to get another play. That's 3 in a row. Very unfortunate spot here for Buena as the defense breaking down at the wrong time. 3 errors, nobody out, and almost everybody on the infield has been guilty as Rosario will bat. 2 on, nobody out. I mean, that's not the way you want the game to kind of unfold. You don't want it to happen like that. You want it to happen because of base hits and fly balls and stuff like that, but it's been basic ground balls. I think that with the infield being how it is here at Gami, the bad hops have really gotten to these infielders today, and I might also be a little bit harsh on the scorekeeping. I mean, they might, have a couple of extra hits in the book when we look at NJ.com tonight, but just the way that I see it, when we're talking about what teams are doing well defensively, like we said, the team that wins this game is going to be the team that makes the least mistakes. And right now, making the least amount of mistakes is Absegami. Have they made mistakes? Plenty. But Buena's made more. And I think that in this situation that they just have to find a way to... I mean, Morales throwing a strike there, 3-1. If he walks him here, the bases will be loaded for Gilger, who just homered last week. So things could get a little bit interesting as the 3-1 is grounded. Out towards short. Brought at the chest for 1 on the first, not in time. So a little bit of a rebound there puts runners on the corners on a 6-4 fielder's choice. And like we said, after 3 straight errors, it's a bit of a breath of fresh air. Briscato is retired. Gargione to third. As 2 runs have come across in this inning on Sterling and Acosta. So here's Geiger. Or Gilger, excuse me. Throw to first, not in time. This headset is the only thing keeping my hat on my head right now, and I'm sure it is for you as well. Runner goes. That's down. Runner will go in without issue. I mean, Absegami's just going to keep filling up those bases. They're going to play a little bit of, what's it called? They're going to play a little bit of game merry-go-round. You know, I'll go here, you go here. Now they've got 2 runners in scoring position. Buena's pitcher, who was just warming up, the left-hander, is coming in from the left field side, the kind of makeshift bullpen there, so I wouldn't be surprised if Carignato may make this Morales' last batter. Hit in play, out towards second. It's actually picked up by the pitcher Morales. The run will score and make that 7-1. As Absegami plates 3 here in the bottom of the 6th, some high-tier insurance. However, that does move the runner to third, Rosario, and it scores Gargione, out number 2, on a 1-3 RBI ground out by Gilbert. Here is Velez. And again, with Harless dealing with what he's got, you know, getting those 3 runs across, he'll be sitting there for a little while, and now, you know, the idea comes in your head of, well, is this going to be a situation where he goes for the complete game? Because this year, I mean, Mike Harless specifically has been no stranger to going the distance. As a ground ball out to third. We'll hold that story for the 7th if it applies at all. It's a nice scoop at first, retires the side, but Absegami puts home 3 runs as Buena's 3 errors get them into some trouble. After 6 innings at the home stretch here in Galloway, 7-1. Michael Harless's day is done. 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, and certainly a very good candidate, and probably the candidate for player of the game presented by the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, as Jack Scazafava comes in to replace him. The left-hander will come in and face 8, 9, and 1. Cuadrado, Morales, and O'Connell. As in a 7-1 ball game here in Absegami High School. Strike is called. I mean, first of all, for Mike Harless, 4 straight starts of 5+ innings. Had 5 versus Oakcrest, 7 versus Lower Cape May, and 6 versus Cedar Creek. And that's where he's got those 26 strikeouts, now bumped up to 32 on the campaign. Count is 1-1. That one is up and away. Scazafava with 8 innings this year, 8 earned runs, 9 hits, and 11 strikeouts. 11 walks and 5 strikeouts. Here's the 2-1. Popped up in the infield. Going over for it is the new third baseman, Jimmy Hanselman. And that's out number 1. Hanselman making his first appearance of the season here for the Braves. And Cuadrado is retired. This will bring up the pitcher Morales, who, I mean, hey, props to Buena for having that long of a leash on him. I mean, he gave up 7 runs. All of the ones in the third were unearned. So, you know, at least you have that going for you. But there is a strike called there. I think that they're kind of playing the long game here. It's a 7-1 game. Unlikely that Buena will come back. But guess what? They have to host Absegami again tomorrow at their field. There's a fly ball out to right. It's caught. And that's out number 2. Don't forget to stay tuned for the Dan Wilkins Broadcasting post-game show and post-game interview presented by the dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators. So we turn the lineup card back over to Dylan O'Connell. He's reached base all 3 times, 2 singles, and a hit by pitch. It's Mike Harless and Jack Sconzafava combining for a great effort on the hill today for Absegami. Absegami, with a win, would improve to 6-2. On the young campaign, and their 6th win in the Cal, as there's a strike called. 1 ball, 1 strike. Way outside by Sconzafava. Again, they play Buena tomorrow. Holy Spirit on the 22nd and 23rd. Overbrook in Coaches versus Cancer on the 25th. There's a line drive out into center field. And Dylan O'Connell, even in what will most likely be a losing effort, has barreled up the ball very well. He's got 3 hits, all singles. It looks like he's actually the only player for Buena to get a hit. Everybody else is walks and errors. Yeah, that, in my book, it's the only hits. He's got 3 of them. So top of the order, doing the heavy lifting. First pitch is a strike called on the right fielder, Ben Cohen. He's made some good plays today. 0 for 3, though, at the plate. Strikeout, pop out, and a dribbler to the pitcher. No balls, 1 strike from Sconzafava. And that is a swing and a miss. We're down to our last strike here in Galloway. And here we go. No balls, 2 strikes, and the pitch. Floated foul, and we stay alive for another day, or at least another pitch, if anything. Again, don't forget to stay tuned for the DWE postgame show here in Cape Atlantic action at Absegami High School. First time seeing the Braves, and, well, they might want us back if they win like this. Here is the 0-2. Dribbler out to the mound. Sconzafava is there. He'll grip it and throw it to first. It is in time, and that's the ball game. Absegami wins it 7-1 with a 6-inning effort by our good friend Mike Harless, who, by the way, lost, won in my fantasy league against me on opening week. But what's more important is that the Braves just won this one. They improved to 6-2 on the season in their 8th game, and then they'll play Buena again at Buena's house on, well, same time tomorrow, 4 o'clock, and then they'll go up and play Holy Spirit during the spring break on the 22nd and 23rd. They'll shake hands. We'll have a quick discussion with Mike Harless in just a moment, your player of the game. 2 hits across 6 innings and 6 strikeouts in a 7-1 win. We'll be right back. Wilkins Broadcasting. Our player of the game presented by the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Pro Wrestling. Our dog of the game is Michael Harless. Six innings, 6 strikeouts, and the Newman commit just was lights out in the 7-1 win for Absegami over Buena. Today was a weird day. It was warm, but it was 30-mile-per-hour winds, and sure wasn't easy out there. How'd you feel out there today?
I felt good. The wind obviously was a factor that didn't really, help me very much. But hit the spots, let the ball put in play. Defense made plays.
Yeah, and it seemed like both teams seemed to get off to a bit of an uneven start in the first couple of innings. Buena and Absegami traded a run in the first, and then you had a lot of run support today.
Yep.
3 runs in the second, and then added on a couple more on some errors in the bottom half of the 6th inning. So it was always good to see a pitcher get some obvious run support. For you this year, you've had a heavy workload. You've had 4 starts, and in none of them have you gone less than 5 innings. How does it feel for you, especially with Coach Mejia, who you've worked with for a long time now, to have that trust where he will have a long leash on you and have you out there for a long time?
He sets a very high standard, and that's what I like about him. I've been able to go 30-plus innings. My sophomore year, I went 32. Last year, I went 49. So I feel like that workload has really helped me build up at this point, and now I'm pretty much putting it all together, having a good year.
And a good strikeout year as well. You're up
Yeah.
to 32 now. You had 13, I think, versus Lower Cape May.
13.
So yeah, I mean, you've been knocking them down, and another 6 today. But overall, Absegami's off to a great start this year.
Yeah.
They're 6-2. They've been consistent, but there's just that one ceiling that you guys have to break. So going into your because of the Cape Atlantic League, you play 2 games in a row. We're not exactly used to that back at home, but playing your back-to-back with Buena tomorrow. What's your mindset going into that? Even though you won't be pitching in game 2, what's your mindset, and how do you think the team's feeling going forward?
I think we're just build off of this. I won't be playing. I'm currently dealing with a sprained ankle, but
Okay.
Just cheer them on, keep the energy high, and just roll from this, build on this. We had a big win last week against Cedar Creek. I think energy's really carried over from that win, so just keep building off.
Especially with a close game versus Ocean City, and
Yeah.
after losing 10-0 versus Cedar Creek,
Didn't
and then
feel
you
good.
come back and then win game 2. That's always a good feeling.
Yeah.
Michael Harless, thank you very much. We're going to do a little DWB tradition. You're just going to sign the bottom of the scorecard, make it nice and big, so your friends at Newman can get prepared for when you're coming around in 2026.
Yeah.
There we go, Michael Harless, player of the game, presented by the Dangerous Adrenaline
Thank you.
Wrestling Gladiators. Thank you very much. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you. I'll see you.
All right, we'll see you, Mike. Yes, we will. We'll be back at Absegami. We love coming here now. It was funny. The athletic director came up to us in the 2nd inning, if you remember, and he says, "Oh, you're the guy from Audubon. I remember you." And well, it was always funny how that worked out. So hopefully we come back to Gami at some point. If you're watching us for the first time, as somebody who might not see us around the area too much, hopefully we come back to, where are we, Galloway, a couple times here and there. From our entire crew, though, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Liam Nolan, my producer, David Cohen, and I'm Dan Wilkins. Absegami beats Buena 7-1. We'll be back in the action a little bit closer to home at Glassboro tomorrow for Tri-County Diamond action between the Woodstown Wolverines and the Glassboro Bulldogs, 4 o'clock tomorrow. That'll be all for us tonight. Have a good one.